It's a Thursday. And so it is time to gas up and find out what's going on as we go Thursdays with Nico. Nico Moreno joining us, and we'll find out what cup of coffee he's got. Is it number 2, sir?
Hey, what's going on, John? Can you hear me okay?
You are good, sir. You are styling. You're wearing the silver and black lid. You're gassed up and ready to go. We can hear you. We can see you, and you are styling and profiling. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I try not to wear my NFL hats, but considering that it's NFL draft day, I said, you know what?
Ah,
I'm going to go ahead and allow myself to do that.
ah.
I am hoping to get a haircut later today. So, maybe next week I'll be no cap and all hair. But yes, this is cup number 1, believe it or not, because I do sound a little chipper for some reason. I know that I
Well, did the boss get you out of the rack at 3:30 to go get the workout in?
She did not. That might be it. Her clock did not. The alarm didn't go off. So I was not gonna get up on my own. So yeah, maybe that's why I'm a little rested. Woke up 5:30 is my usual wake up. So I was able to just kind of get a little extra hour of sleep. Maybe that's why I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Cup number 1. You're a braver man than I. We are in the stretch of a lot of matches in not a very long period of time. And last night, I think somebody just decided to let all of the bulls out of the ring, and then just like we're going to open the gate and just send them on. And I was talking about the 3 matches in the early window where you had 22 goals. Period. You had 22 goals. More than half of the goals that were scored last night were in 3 matches in the Eastern 7:30 window, with NYC's match, Red Bulls match, and Toronto and Phillies match. Toronto and Philly scoring 6 goals. I think Philly's given up their allotment for goal scoring for like this month and next. Before we get into individual games, what do you think about the night on the whole in the midweek?
The night on the whole.
Yeah, just top to bottom from what we had happen last night. Before we get into like individual matches, we had our bit of chaos. We had like 43 goals that happened last night. We had 2 that had 6 goals, 2 that had 8 goals, and then you had some snoozers. But when you look at the night on the whole, what sticks out to you?
I guess I would start with New York City. I think New York City is a team that at least I was doubting because I was not sure if they had done enough to replace Alonso Martinez. We all were wondering where goals were going to come from, at least from the standpoint of a 9. But Nico Fernandez has turned into Tati Castellanos. I mean, he has been so good up top, just doing absolutely everything. He gets an early brace in this one, and then game goes off its hinges after that. But the reality is that New York, despite how poor they were defensively last night, because it feels like overall every team forgot how to defend and how to play. If you look at the DC game is another one that it was just no defense, all offense. But New York in general, I'm starting to feel like they can be a real contender, and it's a little bit about their form. I think that they will need some depth, and I think that in the transfer window they can give themselves a better chance to really solidify themselves as a contender in the East. But that one stands out for me. Orlando City, man, I still don't believe it. Look, it's Charlotte is as inconsistent as it can be. Orlando lets the kids play, if you will, and they're a desperate team, and sometimes desperate teams will have desperate measures, but those desperate measures would only give you results to a certain extent. So for anybody thinking that Orlando has figured it out and they fixed it, I will say something though, that defensively they've lessened the conceded goals, and that's credit to the team in general. But I still feel like this is a very poor team that might give you some sporadic good results. And lastly, I'm gonna get heat for this, but another James Rodríguez game where he's watching off the bench. Minnesota gets the win. Dallas loses, or they might have lost Peter Musa for at least the Sounders game, which benefits the Sounders, but I hate to see an injury to such a top guy.
Yeah.
But that one was fresh in my mind. I was hoping to see a little bit more of James Rodríguez put it on. Ended up seeing Peter Musa get injured. Dallas is they're a decent team. I don't think that they're a top tier team in the Western Conference, in my opinion. I'm not as high on Dallas as some of my other colleagues or pundit friends that are pretty high on Dallas. But now without Peter Musa, hopefully it's nothing that's too serious. But yeah, that's kind of some of the things that stand out from last night.
107 minutes so far in 6 opportunities for James Rodríguez. Shows up for the FC Cincinnati match back on the end of February. 26 minutes as a sub 2 weeks later against Vancouver. 13 minutes the following week in the matchup that you got to keep an eye on with Seattle. Then it's a month. Then it is on an Open Cup with the Sacramento match. He starts, gives you 67. Then 4 days later against Portland, cup of coffee, literally, it was a minute. And then he did not play last night. So 6 matches, 2 times he's in the lineup and he's a sub, didn't play. One other time basically comes in for a glorified howdy do. He waves his hand, the match is over, and you're gone. One match he started, and that's where 67 of these 109 minutes, what did I say? So 107 minutes. So 67 of 107 minutes come in an Open Cup performance that was 9 days ago. And you've got 40 minutes in 3 other matches where you're a sub in MLS regular season play. I mean, look, let me see how many matches Minnesota United has between now and the World Cup break, just so we can kind of gauge what you're looking for here, for James to get into game shape. I mean, this seems like this is a truck that is stuck in the mud right now. This idea, it just seems like, it sounded like a great idea, but he hasn't been available, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, very, very busy. So 7 matches before the end of this window going into the World Cup break, and you've got 5 of those matches in the month of May. So, okay, but I think you kind of need to pick up the pace a little bit if you're trying to have James be James in all bold letters by the time he gets to the World Cup.
Look, to me, just never sounded like a good idea. And don't say I didn't tell you so, because I was here. We put it out there. I mentioned the James issues. And it's difficult to say that because he is such an iconic figure for Colombian soccer. But the reality is that I could only imagine. That scene from The Wolf of Wall Street where the Belfort guy's trying to sell some really bad stock. That's what I could just picture. James's agent talking to Minnesota ownership and being like, "Look, man, I got this really good player for you for this much money," and it was just never going to work out, man. It was never going to work out. He was never going to have a lot of minutes. I had 6 is what I said. I believe I thought that he was going to play at least 6 games. We'll see if he makes that. I mean, it's just has been even worse than I thought, and it's to the point where even his national call-ups are coming into question, and people are freaking out, and the ceiling is literally falling for the Colombian national team from various standpoints. So yeah, we'll see what happens with James Rodríguez, but it just doesn't seem like a very good signing, and he might go as, I don't know if it's one of the biggest busts, because I think that there was some sort of expectation that he might not play a lot of games, at least for most of us. So I don't know if he'll go like biggest bust, but might be up there.
Well, yeah, it seems like maybe Jeremy Irons and margin call. It's like, and Kevin Spacey is trying to explain to Jeremy Irons about, what do we do? It's like, sell it all, and but then no one's gonna want to ever do business with you ever again. And Jeremy Irons is talking to Kevin Spacey, and that scene where they're trying to figure out what to do before the banking collapse. And so that came out in 2011. Margin call. That's your IMDb for the day. But yeah, it's just like, well, but there was talk that this was only going to be just a temporary thing, but it could be renewed until, was it like to the end of June or whatever? and then
Yeah.
they would talk about a renewal after that. I guess if Hamas felt, comfortable or whatever in the situation, wanted to come back and help out Minnesota in whatever aspect. But yeah, you got what, 4 matches I think that he's played in. One was only a minute, and it's like you're here. You might be getting in shape, but you're not really helping out Minnesota United a whole lot. I don't know if this gets renewed unless it comes in under the idea of, yeah, we knew he was getting into playing shape, but yeah, we want to have him come back before, for the rest of the season to kind of help us out and help him get into shape. That's the only thing I can anticipate with this. Does it get
Yeah,
renewed?
I mean, absolutely. I think it's going to be on Hamas. And look, if I'm Hamas, I want to clear my name a little bit. I don't want this on my record this badly, ending this poorly. So maybe I push for an extension beyond June. But if I'm Minnesota, I don't know if I do that. It's such a difficult situation because to me, he was kind of forced onto the club, forced onto the coaching staff. I really don't think the coach rates him necessarily. He himself has some real concerns and lack of shape and form and conditioning stuff. So it's just a big storm in a little tiny glass, and I don't think anybody's going to end up winning out of this. So if James wants to come back, I don't know if Minnesota would be like, "Hey, man, come back, but on a lower salary or or less than you came in already," which is to his standards already pretty low. So it was just never going to work. And then now we'll see what the results are and what little juice you squeeze out of that lemon, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to be very high. But lastly, I did want to shout out also San Jose last night once again, 5-1 against Austin. They continue to work. That was another one that I should have shouted out about last night. They just continue to get results. And look, Austin missed chances, missed opportunities. Facundo Torres, if he puts that 2-0 that he had right in front of goal, maybe changes the game a little bit. But San Jose seems to be a team that just has goals on the chambers, and they'll do it at the end. They'll be opportunistic. I look back to that LAFC game, and I see a game that was pretty much even until like the last 25 minutes. And this one was kind of similar where they just kind of held off to that second half. And all of a sudden, Nika Shakir is just on the run, and you got Aboda moving right into right spaces, and you got Judd looking like Sam Surridge. I mean, it's pretty remarkable what San Jose is doing right now. They turned me into a believer. I'm not gonna shy away from saying that I did not think that we're gonna be this good. I thought that we're gonna be battling barely for a playoff spot, and now they look like they can't be stopped. I mean, 8 out of their 9 games they've won. I mean, best start in club history. I mean, man, they're just red hot.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and it got to a point in the second half where it's like Austin had a lead, and you're going, okay, Austin's got a lead, and then in the second half, they just put the pedal down and mashed it, and it was 4 goals in 11 minutes, and it's over. And Preston Judd had a brace, including a PK. So it just gets to a point where Bruce Arena is just toying with folks now. It's just like, you know what? Here's tell you what, well, let's do this. Let's do this. And it's a combination of all those young guys and those key pickups where Timo Werner doesn't have to be the guy; he can be a guy.
Yep.
And I think that's important with the development that you're seeing there with San Jose. Other stuff going on last night out at Rio Tinto. I have heard that there are some folks on this Miami roster that are pretty decent, and you got to see Father Time kind of turn the clock back just a little bit, even if it was just on an egg timer for one of those folks. But Rodrigo de Paul, I've heard he's very good. He has his moments. And this Messi guy, I've heard he's good. He has his moments. And it just ends up once again, you're waiting. It's like you're waiting for the inevitable. And it just seems like RSL, you look at Diego Luna and you look at the young guys, Hezar Khani and Gozo, and that's really something that's going to be a fun watch with Pablo over the next couple of years. But at the end of the day, you're just like, here comes this big wave of experience and pressure. It's a goalless draw with 10 to go. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever. 2 goals in short succession, and Messi and friends win on the road twice in 4 days. And their home record isn't all that great this year, but they've won twice in 4 days in very, very tough environments in Major League Soccer.
Yeah, this was another one where RSL could have gone on the lead early, and it was just a uh, a goal that was called off initially, and by VAR, sounds like it was fine. It was the whole blocking the view of the goalkeeper on the offside position, fine. Then Goso has one that he could have put away. Dub doesn't put it away. Luna was creating a lot of opportunities, but there just wasn't that finishing touch. And when you talk about, as you mentioned, these guys that they're somewhat good, you cannot allow them to stay in the game, right? So you got Lionel Messi in front of you. You got Rodrigo de Paul. Luis Suarez comes in and does his thing, right? You have this team that, regardless of what happens, has this individual talent, and you can't let them stay in the game, and that's what happened. So RSL did not take advantage of their opportunities. I'm very high on RSL. I think they're a very good team, but they cannot have this sort of games where they're just not putting the ball in the back of the net. And on the other side, look, I find it amusing how we try to, or in general, media and analysts, we try to figure out things. Well, maybe it's Hoyos that really figure out the three-man back line for Miami and all these things, but it's really not that complicated, man. I mean, the three-man back line seemed like a thing that they should have been doing for a long time, because Miami is very poor defensively, and just having that extra help in the back is beneficial. Falcone needs the help because he apparently cannot be given too much space because he has no idea what to do with it. So just little things, little adjustments. But the reality is that Messi runs the show. Messi and friends are the ones that decide what happens, and they're going to continue to live off of the Messi magic. I mean, you look back at the game before that. I mean, they won the game at the end with some Messi magic, right? But the game wasn't really that good. They were back and forth. They won it at the end, but it continues to be just individual moments for Inter Miami. So yes, it is about the talent. It is about all of these phenomenal players. But I still think that at one point you're going to have to need a collective. And that's why, again, I'll probably be wrong once again, but I don't think that Messi and friends win the whole thing this year. But they definitely have a lot of talent.
Yeah. And then you end up with, we talk about San Jose. LA just kind of worked their way through. LAFC gets a goalless draw last night. But yeah, San Jose right now, they are causing a lot of problems. And I don't know what their long-term sustainability is going to be, but they're going to be problems in the Western Conference for LAFC. And I think that whoever comes out of the West, as you're chasing after a Nashville or you're chasing after a Messi and friends, then it's going to be I think that at the top of the standings in each conference, I think it's going to be very, very entertaining because you're seeing these new players like a Nashville, like a San Jose come in. So it's not just the names that we're used to seeing, but you're getting a couple of key transactions taken in San Jose and in Nashville, and you're seeing what can be for these teams at the top. It's not just the same old names right now.
No, and I like that. I mean, that's the beauty of MLS in general. And yes, there are some teams that are surprising, like San Jose, but Nashville, they had been coming. They were building something. You saw it last season. They're able to get more talent. They're dealing with CCC and MLS play, which is never easy. It kind of feels like LAFC is having an even harder time than Nashville dealing with both. But that's kind of the beauty of it. I think that you've had all these teams. San Diego's been a mess. I mean, they've kind of fallen apart. And is it the fact that you don't have Chucky Lozano and you haven't done anything with the DP spot? What happens with that whole saga, the whole telenovela? I mean, is it depth?
The lack of discipline. With all
lack of discipline.
The red cards that they've been getting. What is it, 6 matches in a row that they've gotten a red?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, to me, it's just, and I know that Mikey Veras says that, yes, they're tired, and I get that from, balancing out multiple comps, but it's just the idea of, come on, let's be disciplined here in these situations and not do anything that goes over the line that gives these center refs an opportunity to have us go a man down. But it's like 6 straight comps that they've had a red card, which is insane to me. I can't think of the last time that I've seen something like that.
And there's always something, right? Is it Dua sticking his arm out when he shouldn't have? Is it, a double yellow? Like there seems to be always something for this San Diego team. But I'm more concerned with their lack of offensive volume and offensive creativeness. Because if anything, you always saw that from San Diego, right? They had the right style. Dryer was always in the right positions. Pellegrino was getting off to a good start, right? There were all these components that you, at the very least, you were getting a San Diego team that always looked dangerous, and that just hasn't been the case for the last 3-4 games. So how do they fix it? How do they make it better? I really do think that they need to shake things up a bit. Uh, Sometimes that the pressure of it all might force you to do something, and you have Chucky Lozano on his IG showing the training grounds and things. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to this, but you're going to have to make some really hard decisions if you want San Diego to get out of this rut.
So Seattle's back at it again. They got the midweek off. So they are late night Saturday hosting FCD. It's the Jesus Ferreira Bowl and the Paul Areola Bowl. Seattle's a minus 137. FCD is a plus 350. What are you looking at in this one?
It should be a comfortable win for Seattle, especially expecting Peter Musa not to be available. No disrespect to Farrington, who's a strong attacker. I think that Dallas doesn't match up well with Seattle. I think that Dallas is a team that tends to be very gappy in the midfield. I think it's easier to play through them than around them. And because of that, I think that it fits to Seattle's strengths with Snyder Burnell being such a good ball through passer, with Jesus Ferreira being this playmaker that can really put those through balls, with what I think is going to be a Sounders team pretty much on the offensive, waiting for a selective pressing Dallas team that I think mainly is going to want to be more physical. They're going to want to win more duels, but on the technical sense of possession and passing patterns, I just think Seattle is too good for these Dallas teams. Now, Dallas can put it on you, right? They use the width pretty well, getting forward on the attack. They, especially in transition, they have been clinical, and they've been in some shootouts where they could definitely put some goals in the back of the net. But I think that Seattle's overall discipline, midfield, and their attacking presence is going to be too much for Dallas to handle. A couple of things to note from the Sounders training week. Albert Rusnak was not there yesterday. I asked Brian about it. He said there's nothing going on. Some players are taking pro days. I don't know how much I buy that, and I don't know what you would lie though. But Albert Rusnak came off the San Luis game in what looked like with some tightness, and he like sits down, he gets pulled off the field. So I'm wondering where that's at. I'll trust Brian for going on the record and saying that there's nothing there, but that's something to watch.
You also don't want to give the opposition anything to not prepare for, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely, 110%. So we'll be out there today, seeing what happens, where he's at. Is he off to his side? Because Paul Areola was also off to the side doing some things on his own. So you're right. Maybe you're trying to not give the opponents any sort of, you don't want to show your cards, right? You're trying to play some real good poker face going into this game. But overall, the team just looks in very good spirits. I think that Ferreira is going to be very motivated to go in here and have a great game. I think that over the last couple of games, Ferreira has been a lot more goal dangerous. He's without a doubt one of the most influential players for the Sounders team. But if there was something that you wanted more out of him, was taking more shots, getting in dangerous positions a little more often. And I think that he's done that over the last couple of games. I thought against St. Louis had a couple of big moments where he got himself into a position to get a good header. He has a shot in front of goal that he probably wishes he could have back. He doesn't connect well, but he's just making progresses there. So I think that Ferreira is going to have a big game. We'll see what happens with the Jordan Morris saga. I think that we could see him out at winger or on the wide ends. I think that because you're trying to figure out who is the deserving 9. You might see Danny Musovsky get another start. He got a start against San Luis, didn't score in 79 minutes. Then Osasa de Rosario comes in, has a very good goal. So I think that you're scratching your head if you're Brian Smetzer. So you probably want to give Moose one more chance to prove it to you. And in that time, you probably have Jordan Morris playing a little wider. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be an easy win for the home team, though. I expect them to, have some wins in this home stretch, because you don't go out on the road and find ways to win to drop points at home. So I would expect this team to continue to win at home. But we'll be out there today. We'll have all that information on Pulso Sports, of course. But I do see a Sounders team that's very in control, that has a lot of depth and a lot of competition in various positions. So this is a dangerous team right now.
All right, a couple of other matchups out west, and you can pick whichever one you want to talk about. San Jose is at all caps at St. Louis City SC, and St. Louis is favored at a plus 129 right now. San Jose's a dog on the road to St. Louis at a plus 179. Portland, a big underdog, north of plus 300 at San Diego, the Murph Dragon. San Diego FC is a minus 133. Colorado plus 700 at Vancouver, who's a minus 278. And LAG on Sunday Night Soccer at home is a favorite at a plus 110 to RSL, who's a plus 220. What do you think?
Wow, really? Hey, I like that RSL game. So RSL, what are the numbers on RSL?
RSL is a plus 220 to win.
Wow. I like that. No disrespect, but LAG, they end up losing Joao Klaus. I think that they're still a very shaky team in the back. They have a hard time holding on to the ball. It's not like RSL is going to want to keep possession, but I feel like in transition, RSL is going to put LAG in a lot of problems, specifically from wide areas. So I like this game. What's the compose on the goals as well? Because a 3.5 in this one, I would not mind adding on, just because RSL missed a lot of chances in this game over the midweek. I don't expect them to do the same against the Galaxy.
Plus 125 is 3.5.
Oh yeah, I like that.
It's a decent change. It changes
Mm-hmm.
at 3.25. That's where it goes from minus to plus. So plus 125 at 3.5 for your total, and a plus 220 for the visitors. So that is that's the rundown for LAG and RSL. So
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
In San Jose, St. Louis, I don't know. Like I'm not gonna touch it, but this one seems like one of those games where San Jose is on a hot streak. They've been beating everybody and they've looked great. And in a very MLS fashion, they dropped this game out of nowhere with like no sense at all of like any logic. But I don't know why this one to me feels like one of those games where San Jose might just drop points or against a San Luis City team that hasn't really been getting results. But I don't know why. I just get a feeling. No logic again at all. But to me, this looks like one of those MLS games where San Jose is just going to come out and just look flat and not get a result.
Okay. And we will keep an eye on it. As always, my friend, it's great to see you. And glad that you are up and around and spry, only on your first cup of coffee. And we will catch up with you again this time next week to break it all down as we keep it rolling because of this World Cup thing in like 7 weeks. Oh, he's in the Palouse today. So he's got the matching mug to go with the silver and black up top. He's got the black mug going on with the ceramic. As always, my friend, it's great to see you. And enjoy your games. Enjoy your time at the Providence and Swedish license plate renewal and 5-minute oil change. And we'll catch up with you next week, my friend.
Appreciate it. Let's see if Mendoza does the miracle for the Raiders. And lastly, here we have a really good Peter Kingston exclusive that will be on Lovin's Scorchers and Sounder Our Heart Podcast Network. Great interview. The kid is fun. He has this very inspiring story about never giving up. And even if you don't get drafted, even if you have to go through all of these challenges, if you keep your head up high, you work hard, you get where you want. So yeah, check that out. It'll be coming out. But I appreciate you as always, guys. Have a good one.
All right, there goes Nico. He's going to go enjoy his coffee and his stuff.